Patrick Harris is an outreach worker for the Bridge, a relatively small local charity for the homeless. That modest introduction may prompt the question, how does he come to be joining the ranks of the Nobel Prize winners, heads of government, renowned authors, peacemakers, sporting heroes, and captains of industry who have received honorary degrees from this university? The answer, put simply, is that Patrick is quite exceptional. Every bit as exceptional as those other people, and more so than many, though he is naturally modest and may not be grateful for the comparison. His tireless work with the homeless, the outcast, and the desperate of our society fully justifies the use of the term awe-inspiring. Patrick was born in Leicester, where he lived in the Highfields and Saffron Lane areas, going to school at the former Linwood Boys' School. He married his childhood sweetheart, had 5 sons, and worked as a painter and decorator. This unexceptional life came to an end when his wife left him, taking the children with her. The breakup was more than Patrick could cope with, and in his late 20s he became homeless, sofa surfing with friends and acquaintances when he could manage it, but all too often sleeping on the street. He says his preferred sleeping place was a shelter in Leicester's Abbey Park, as it was relatively safe if you climbed in after the gates were closed. After many months of this, there must surely have been a serious risk that Patrick would continue on a downward path of increasing hardship and isolation. Unlike many in his position, he never succumbed to alcohol or drugs. Eventually, he found accommodation at a hostel in the Highfields area, but was appalled to find the place littered with needles and the paraphernalia of drug use. His objections resulted in his being moved to another hostel, and this was a turning point. A lady working there helped him to regain access to his children, and she showed him how, as he puts it, to give his life to Christ. Patrick's faith now underpins all that he does, and sustains him when his work brings him into contact, as it often does, with the most distressing circumstances. It is not an ostentatious faith, and his help is given to people of all faiths and none. His guiding principle is surely this famous passage from the Gospel of St. Mark. I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of these, the least of my brothers, you did it for me. Patrick started working at the Bridge in 2009, initially as a volunteer, but latterly as an employee. His normal working day begins long before the rest of us are awake, at 4 a.m, when he sets out on his bicycle and on foot round the streets of Leicester, seeking out the rough sleepers to whom he is a trusted friend. He will provide any assistance he can and will point people towards the Bridge's breakfast service, which he set up 2 years ago specifically for rough sleepers. This is available every weekday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and normally has 15 to 20 guests a day. There is also provision for them to shower, to wash their clothes, and to get advice on health care, benefits, and other forms of support. Patrick also leads twice-weekly hot food and companionship sessions on Thursday evenings and Sunday afternoons for others in need. These have on average 85 to 105 guests at each session. When there are enough volunteers, Patrick organises them to take the food out to the rough sleepers. And this is by no means all. He finds permanent accommodation for people with none, 24 of them in Leicester last year. He identifies individuals who can benefit from the Bridge's mentoring programme, which has helped many to lead more productive lives and reintegrated them into society. He recruits and inspires new volunteers to work with the homeless. This has included encouraging students of medicine and law from this university to become involved in the Bridge, preparing them to work in their future professions with these often misunderstood and stigmatized members of our community. And not least, Patrick provides companionship for the people who come to the Bridge or whom he meets on the streets and in squats. Many of these people are very lonely, and Patrick always finds time to talk to them. Patrick feels very strongly that more could be done to reduce homelessness if there was a more thorough analysis of its causes, together with better coordination between the different organisations, official and voluntary, who work in this field. In many ways, his own energy now provides that glue as he shuttles between different agencies, finding solutions designed to meet the specific needs of individuals. The work is often tragic. Patrick has attended the funerals of 5 of the people he calls my lads in the last 4 weeks. And these are often young men, like the 28-year-old friend whom Patrick stopped to speak to one evening on the street and found to be desperately ill. By the time the ambulance arrived, the young man had died. Positive stories offer compensation, like that of a man who is now employed as a refuse collector in another city. After work, he regularly buys food and distributes it to the rough sleepers on his way home. And there are many other examples. Patrick's own working day normally ends at about 7 p.m., 15 hours after it began. He is frank enough to say that he then needs an hour or so of peace in which to absorb the many experiences of the day. The people Patrick helps have been described in different times and places with varying degrees of disapproval as tramps, down-and-outs, derelicts, dossers, beggars, bums, itinerants, vagabonds and vagrants, and in our slightly politer times, rough sleepers and the homeless. To Patrick, they are all people who need and will respond to love, empathy and compassion. Patrick's is not just a job, it is a vocation. He reminds us what can be achieved through dedication, faith, hard work, selflessness and love. Mr. Chancellor, on the recommendation of the Senate and the Council, I present Patrick Harris that you may confer upon him the Honorary Degree of Doctor of Laws.
Wow. Well, thank you ever so much, everybody. You know what? First and foremost, I just want to thank God, because if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here today. Also, I want to thank my wife and my family that are here today. Thank you for your support over the years. And also the people that believed in me, the trustees of the bridge, who are absolutely amazing. And also most of my volunteers, because I look at it, I'm only one person. If it wasn't because of my volunteers, I wouldn't be able to half do what I can do. So I want to really, thank all of them. And also the people who's played a part in my life, supporting me. And also for this today, to see all you people is just absolutely amazing. I went to school, didn't pass any exams or anything, and just to see the amount of people who have graduated here today, and you should all be proud of yourselves. And also for the people here, what's done this, it's just, absolutely amazing. So thank you all, and I hope the bridge can still keep working along with Leicester University and supporting us. And may God bless you all. Thank you.